We've got 3 games left in the NFL season, and that includes the AFC and the NFC Championship games that are going to be played tomorrow. And obviously, if you know anything about this channel, we got to talk about the games, and I'm going to just say my predictions and a little more thoughts about each of the games. And yeah, it's been a fun season so far. I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about, so definitely going to go more into depth whenever I'm talking about the literal 2 games that I'm going to be talking about. So yeah, we'll just hop right into it. So before we hop into it, the divisional round, I went 3-1 in my picks, putting my playoff total at 8-2. And the curse wheel team this week is the Rams. And if you don't know what the curse wheel is, basically That's Good Sports spins a wheel at every power rankings to basically do his power rankings, but then he spins a wheel at the end, and that team essentially gets cursed, but it's been 0-2 at the start of the playoffs, so I think the wheel might be fake, or at least not a playoff curse wheel, I don't know. But that is the curse wheel team, and definitely something to take account of. Alright, our first game, we have the Patriots taking on the Broncos in the AFC Championship at 3 p.m. in Denver. And yeah, this game, it definitely sucks for the Broncos that Bo Nix will be injured for the rest of the season since he broke his ankle in the divisional round against the Bills. That does suck. I feel for him. And the Patriots, they were able to take care of business against the Texans last week, and the week before that, able to beat the Chargers. And, you know, their offense didn't look amazing in these playoffs so far, but at the same time, you know, they did go up against 2 really good defenses, so you have to take that into account. I mean, you always have to give credit where credit's due for teams winning. And I think both these teams, you know, all year people were saying, oh, well, these teams aren't that good. They're not as good as their record and things like that. And I think the Broncos and Patriots have proven a lot of people wrong, considering that they are the 2 literal best teams in the AFC. So I think both these teams had incredible seasons. You know, I never would have expected either of these teams to be in the AFC Championship at the beginning of this. And, you know, I mean, it does suck that Bo Nix isn't able to enjoy this, but the fact that the Broncos are even here at this point is amazing. And obviously the Patriots too, with Mike Vrabel, his first season, Drake May having a breakout year in his second year, could potentially win MVP. It's really between him and Stafford. And yeah, this is going to be, honestly, I think it's going to be a really good game, even though Bo Nix isn't playing. It's going to be Jarrett Stidham. And the reason I still think that it's going to be a good game is because I think the Broncos are going to do everything they can to make sure they play turnover-free football, because obviously if they turn the ball over, it's going to be a lot worse because we don't have the quarterback to really fight back as much as we would if Bo was playing, but he's not. So that's definitely something you have to take into account. Our offensive line is one of the best in the league. The Broncos' offensive line is one of the best in the league. And the Patriots' offensive line is actually one of the worst. And I think, obviously, the Patriots have the quarterback advantage. The running back advantage, I think it could honestly go either way. The Broncos might get J.K. Dobbins back. That would be huge because I think we're going to run the ball a ton in this game, more than we usually do, because Sean Payton, for some reason, hates running the ball. But I think in this situation, he needs to run the ball. And the Patriots, I mean, the Broncos defense is no joke. I mean, and Patriots know a thing or two about good defenses. I mean, they played the Chargers and they played the Texans, 2 of the other good defenses in the NFL. But they were still able to come out on top. And, I mean, the offense was able to overcome the other offense that they were playing against. And we'll see how this game goes and how the rhythm and flow goes, because it could really go either way. I feel like it's either going to be really close and could be either team, or if the Broncos make a lot of mistakes, I feel like that could be detrimental to them winning this game. And I think that's the only way I could see this game being a blowout, is if Jarrett Stidham has like one of the worst games of his career or something like that. that's not going to be good. Like, we have to make sure that we don't put ourselves in that situation, considering our quarterback situation at the moment. Now, who do I think is going to win? This is definitely an interesting one because it says the Patriots are favored. I mean, obviously they're favored since the Broncos don't have their starting quarterback. And, a lot of people are picking the Patriots just because, they have their quarterback. And, their team might overall be better. I mean, I guess you could take your pick. Their defense is no joke either. It's not as good as the Broncos, but it's definitely up there. So you definitely have to take that into account. And let's see, for my pick, I'm going to actually go with the Broncos. If you couldn't tell by my profile picture already, I'm a fan of this team. And I think we're going to find a way to get it done. I think Jarrett Stidham's going to play turnover-free football. I think we're going to run the ball like crazy. I think our offensive line is going to allow us to do both of those things efficiently. And I think I'm picking the Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to win this game 20-17. And we'll go ahead and transition over to the Rams and the Seahawks, the NFC Championship game. And this is the third time these teams have played this season. And I just realized the Seahawks played the 49ers and they will play the Rams 3 times this year. So they're playing a lot of division opponents, which is crazy how much they're playing their division. And this game, it has storybook written all over it. I mean, you've got the Rams won one of the games in the regular season, the Seahawks won the other in very dramatic fashion. One of the best games I've ever seen. And I think it's going to be the better game between the two games. Just because I think these two teams are way more evenly matched than the Broncos and Patriots are. And I think both of their offenses will be better because of the fact that, the Broncos and Patriots defenses are really good, and the Broncos have a backup quarterback, and the Patriots offense has struggled a bit through these playoffs. But I don't think the Rams offense is going to struggle too much. And the Seahawks offense hasn't really struggled at all. And the Rams defense, I don't want to say they're bad because they're not, but they're not as good as the Broncos, Patriots, and Seahawks because they all three have great defenses and the Rams just have like a good defense. It's not bad. It's just not on those levels of defense, but they make up for it with their offense. And I will say it's a bit concerning that the Rams have had really close calls with both the Panthers and the Bears. The Panthers game, at the start, the Rams were kind of, beating the Panthers like everyone expected. And then they kind of let the Panthers get back into it. And then they actually let the Panthers take the lead with a little over 2 minutes left. And they did come out on top in that game. The Rams were able to score a touchdown and be up by 3 and then force a turnover. But, definitely not what you want to do, considering that the Panthers just barely made the playoffs. And for their matchup last week against the Bears, that was another game. I mean, they kind of did the same thing. Like, they were up like 17 to 10, in the fourth quarter. And then they kind of let their foot off the gas and let the Bears, get the game into overtime with one of the craziest throws in playoff history by Caleb Williams. If you saw it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was like 4th down. Caleb Williams ran back like 20 or 30 yards just to get away from the blitzers. And he basically threw up a prayer, but somehow it was caught. And that literally continued the game. It was insane. It was so insane that they did that. But, the Rams, they were able to still win that game. I mean, I don't remember who had the ball first in overtime in that game. But, I think the Bears did, and then they went 3 and out or something, and the Rams ended up kicking a field goal. I think that's what happened. I could be wrong. But yeah, that game, it was an ugly weather game, but, the Rams, they still got out on top, but at the same time, it's like, you'd think that the Rams would be able to have one of those games not be like a really stressful game, considering how talented their roster is. because I'd say out of the 4 teams in the championship round, the Rams are the least surprising. I mean, the Seahawks are a tiny bit surprising because I actually did have them winning the division, but I didn't really think they were a team that could get this far. And, the Rams, they've been here and done this, so them being here is definitely not too shocking. Patriots and Broncos, those are big shocks. I did not expect that out of either team, especially not the Patriots. That one was a real big shock. So, this one's definitely less surprising, I don't know. But yeah, it's a division matchup. It should be really good. Now, I talk about the Rams a lot. We'll talk about the Seahawks. I mean, I don't want to say there's not a lot to talk about because obviously there is, but I mean, they had one game in the playoffs because they got the 1 seed. And they basically dominated the 49ers. I mean, that game was literally never in question. They won that game 41-6. And they basically just ran the ball the entire time. And, I mean, I'm not saying that that's bad. It's great. That is actually great that the Seahawks were able to do that and not have to worry about that game ever being in jeopardy. And, I talked about this in power rankings. Like, there's a difference between escaping a team and dominating a team. And I think, the Seahawks just truly dominated that game. I mean, that was literally the most dominant game in the entire playoffs. I mean, that was, to tell you the truth, that was the only game that was never in question, in my opinion. Because a lot of games, either they were really close for a while and they got really bad for the team that lost in like the fourth quarter or something, like for the Texans and Steelers game. Like the final score is bad, but the Steelers were hanging in there the entire game. Or there's games like the Rams and the Bears where the Rams were kind of up for a while and then the Bears made it so they tied the game and went to overtime. And even the Broncos game against the Bills a week ago, I mean, they were up by a decent amount. They let the Bills get back into it. The Broncos still won, but yeah, that one game the Seahawks had, I mean, they truly just had no trouble. And I will say one thing about the Rams that's definitely not great for the Seahawks is they kind of have Sam Darnold's number. So, I mean, I would not be shocked if either team won this game. That's the nice thing about these championship rounds. There's no clear cut like, oh, they're going to win this game because this. I mean, you can make your argument, but like you really can't say this team is most definitely going to win because they have this or like, no, all these games are an open book, to be completely honest. And that's what I love about these playoffs. Every game, maybe not every game, but a lot of games it's just been an open book. And, you can't really definitively argue either side. Like, at least not to the extent that you could for years past, where you have really bad teams playing against really good teams. And I think for this game, I think it's going to be really high scoring. I think it's going to be more high scoring than Broncos-Patriots. And I think I am going to pick the Seahawks just because they're at home and they've, kind of proven themselves a lot more in these playoffs than the Rams have. And I think that's definitely something, you can definitely think about. Definitely something to factor in. And I know Sam Darnold usually does struggle against the Rams. I mean, he didn't struggle the last time he played him, but the time before he had 4 interceptions. But even that game, I mean, the Seahawks literally still almost won that game despite him throwing 4 interceptions. So I think as long as Sam Darnold doesn't have like one of the worst games of his career, I think the Seahawks are going to squeak away a win. I think it could go to overtime. I'm going to say the Seahawks win 33-30. And there you have it. I mean, not the most exciting video just because there's only 2 games to talk about, but I tried to go into depth as much as I could with each team. Here's the scores if you forgot them or whatever. I couldn't imagine you did, but you never know. I mean, even if I'm wrong on these 2 games, I mean, I'm still pretty happy with my playoff record. I mean, I could get every game wrong from here on out and still have an 8-5 record. I usually do absolutely terrible when it comes to predicting the playoffs, but this year's been different. And that's right, I did. I went against the curse wheel. I forgot to mention that. Or no, never mind. I technically picked the team that wasn't cursed in that, but I mean, I don't know. The Seahawks were favored. I would have picked them anyway, regardless of who got cursed. So I don't really count that as me teaming up with a curse wheel or whatever you want to say. But yeah, that's a superstition. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. You know, I think regardless if you are a Broncos, Rams, Seahawks, or Patriots fan, I mean, regardless of what happens, you guys have all had tremendous seasons. In the Broncos, Patriots, and Seahawks cases, you guys made it a hell of a lot further than anyone ever could have imagined. You know, the Broncos, and they literally, all those teams went 14-3. I mean, that is impressive. Like, winning that many games is really hard to do. And this is just like, it's one of those seasons where even if you don't win it all this year, definitely enjoy it. And I mean, obviously, if you're a Rams fan, enjoy it too, because you guys went 12-5. You guys aren't slouches either, but you guys won the Super Bowl literally like, I think it's going to be 4 years ago when the Super Bowl was played, because you guys beat the Bengals in 2022. Super Bowl is going to be played in 2026, so yeah. You know, that you guys enjoy your season too. I mean, Matthew Stafford, if he can win the Super Bowl, I mean, that could literally push him into the Hall of Fame, because like he's on the list of quarterbacks where like you could argue either side, but I think if he wins the Super Bowl here, and I think he is going to win MVP just because of how dominant of stats he has, I think that he will probably get in, because I want him to get in. I mean, he's had one hell of a career, and I don't think this is going to be his last year, but it's definitely one of his like later years. I mean, he's not going to play forever, and I mean, so I don't want to say the Rams have like the brightest future, because that does kind of suck that he's older and he's going to eventually retire at some point. But I mean, you guys won a Super Bowl with him. You guys made his career so much better. You guys made it so he has a genuine chance to get in the Hall of Fame. Because before he went to the Rams, he had no chance. He had no playoff success. He didn't have a single playoff win. He had stats, but that's it. Like, he never won an MVP. He'll probably win one this year. And, I mean, yeah, it's been one hell of a ride for the Rams. And as for the other three teams, those teams are a lot younger. I mean, you've got Bo Nix is pretty young. Sam Darnold is still decently young. Drake May is a baby, so he's going to be around for a very long time. And I mean, Sam Darnold and Bo Nix are too. I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to like retire like tomorrow, but you know, you guys all have bright futures. Those three teams, I will say at the very least, have bright futures. And I mean, even the Rams, I mean, I trust Sean McVay. I think even if Stafford retires, like after this season, which I couldn't imagine he does, I think you guys will be just fine. I think Sean McVay will find another guy, and whoever does quarterback the Rams in the future is going into a great system, a great head coach, a great organization. All four of these teams are great organizations. So, you know, it's always good to see teams that usually aren't in these, you know, championship rounds make it. And yeah, it's been a fun playoffs, and we'll see how it concludes and who gets to play in the Super Bowl. That's all I got. Peace out.